I thought I was just making a quick stop at my son-in-law's house, but what I found there shook me to my core. What was my wife's car doing there? And what I heard next made my blood run cold. Before we continue, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for updates. I've been married to Linda for over 20 years. We've had our ups and downs, like any couple. But lately, things had been off. We'd been distant. Conversations felt more like small talk, and the spark that used to light up our relationship seemed to have dimmed. But I never expected things would get this bad. Not with her, not with our family. It all started on that regular Saturday afternoon. I was driving by my son-in-law Jake's house, intending to just check in on him. Nothing special. I've been meaning to catch up with him, and I thought I'd stop by. But when I turned onto his street and saw something I didn't expect, everything inside me froze. I saw Linda's car parked in the driveway. Why was her car at Jake's house? Linda never just drops by, especially not when I'm home, and certainly not without telling me. Was something going on? I didn't want to jump to conclusions, but deep down, something didn't feel right. So I decided to find out for myself. I parked a few houses down, trying to stay out of sight. I told myself it was nothing, that I was just being paranoid. But something pulled at me, a gut feeling I couldn't shake. What could she possibly be doing there? I had to know. But when I peeked through that window, what I saw and heard would change everything. I had no plans to spy, but something in my gut told me I needed to see for myself. I couldn't just let this go. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. I turned off the engine, heart pounding, and watched from the corner of my eye as Jake's house loomed in front of me. The car was parked at the gate, just a few feet from the driveway. I tried to reason with myself. Maybe she was just visiting, nothing more. But my instincts told me otherwise. Linda didn't just show up there without a reason. I sat in my car for a minute, wrestling with myself. Should I just knock on the door? Pretend like I'm here to hang out? But no, that didn't feel right. If I did that, I wouldn't be able to shake the feeling that something wasn't being said. So I decided to take a different approach. I pulled the car over a few houses down, hoping to stay hidden. My mind was racing. What if I'm wrong? What if I'm overthinking this? But then again, what if I'm not? I crept toward the house, careful to stay out of view, and made my way to the side window where I knew I could get a good look inside. As I peered through the blinds, I felt my heart skip a beat. There they were, Jake and Linda, talking, laughing, sitting too close. I couldn't hear much at first, but the way they were sitting, it didn't sit right with me. I was too close, and yet it felt like I was a million miles away from them, like I didn't belong in this space at all. What was going on? Then, just as I started to back away, I heard something I couldn't ignore. Linda's voice, soft and calm, but it carried a weight that hit me like a slap in the face. But what she said next made my stomach churn. I couldn't just walk in. I had to see if something was off. The moment Linda spoke, my heart felt like it was in my throat. I stayed frozen, pressing my ear against the window as best as I could. There was no turning back now. My curiosity was suffocating me. I was hearing snippets of their conversation, words that didn't make sense, yet were so painfully clear. Linda's voice was low, almost a whisper, but there was no mistaking the intimacy in her tone. She wasn't talking to Jake like a brother-in-law. Felt different, too comfortable, too familiar. She laughed, but it wasn't her usual laugh, the one I loved. It felt rehearsed, like she was saying things she didn't mean to say. I couldn't stop listening. I was stuck in the moment, desperate for any kind of clarity. Was this just innocent, friendly conversation? Or was I hearing something deeper? And then I caught the words that twisted my stomach into knots. I don't know how much longer I can keep pretending, Jake. Pretending? My chest tightened. What was she pretending? Why was she telling Jake that? What could she possibly be hiding from me? Was it the distance between us? The silence that had filled our home for months? I'd sensed it before, but I never imagined it would be something like this. Jake's voice came next, and I strained to hear it. He was calm, reassuring her. I just want you to be happy, Linda. You know that. Happy? My mind raced. Was he talking about my wife? Was he offering something that I couldn't give her anymore? My pulse quickened, and all I could do was listen. Every word felt like a crack in the foundation of everything I'd believed in. I knew I should leave. I should walk away. But I couldn't. My hands were shaking. What was happening? Why was I standing here, eavesdropping on a conversation I had no right to hear? But then, Linda said something that would change everything. What I heard next completely shattered the image I had of my family. Linda's next words hit me like a freight train. I couldn't process them at first. I had to hear it again. My mind raced, and everything in my body screamed that I was hearing this wrong. But there it was, clear as day. I just feel so empty, Jake. I need something more than what I have at home with David. Empty? More? My world tilted on its axis. What the hell was she talking about? I thought I knew my wife better than anyone. But suddenly, I wasn't so sure. Empty? With me? I had been working hard, sure, but we were partners, weren't we? Jake's voice was calm, almost like he had heard this before, like this wasn't a new confession. He spoke with so much understanding, and that's when the pit in my stomach grew deeper. Why does he understand her better than I do? David's a good guy, Linda, Jake said softly. But you deserve more than just good. You deserve someone who sees you, who really sees you. See her? What did that mean? Was I blind to her needs? Was I not seeing the woman I married? This wasn't just a conversation anymore. It felt like a confession, like they had crossed a line that I hadn't even realized existed. I felt a surge of anger. All this time, I had been so wrapped up in my own problems, thinking she was the one who was distant. But here she was, telling Jake that I wasn't enough. That wasn't just a slap in the face. It was a blow to everything I thought we had. But what came next took me by surprise. Linda's voice dropped to almost a whisper, and then I heard the words that I will never forget. I don't know how much longer I can keep this a secret, she confessed. I feel like I'm falling for you, Jake. Falling for him. My mind spun. Was this happening? Was Linda, my wife, admitting she had feelings for my son-in-law? I was frozen, unable to move or breathe. I couldn't stay silent anymore. I had to confront them. I couldn't believe what I had just heard. But there was no denying it. Linda had just admitted in the most painful way that she was falling for Jake, my own son-in-law. My hands clenched into fists at my sides as the adrenaline surged through me. This wasn't just a betrayal. It was a deep wound in the heart of my family. I was shaking with a mix of anger and disbelief. Part of me wanted to storm in there, demand answers, drag Linda out and tell her everything I had just overheard. But another part of me, the rational part, told me to calm down. Maybe I should think this through. Maybe I should wait until I had all the facts. But how could I wait? How could I sit here and let my wife tell Jake she was falling for him? While I stood on the other side of that window, helpless, I took one last deep breath and made a decision. I had to confront them. With my heart pounding in my chest, I walked up to the front door, my footsteps heavy and deliberate. I reached for the handle, and just as my hand made contact, the door swung open. I froze. Jake stood there, alone. Where was Linda? I couldn't hide the confusion on my face. Where's Linda? I asked, my voice betraying the anger that was bubbling beneath the surface. Jake shifted uncomfortably. He didn't make eye contact with me. Instead, he stepped back, almost as if he was trying to shield something, or someone, from my view. She's inside, he said, his voice sounding off like he was hiding something. I didn't buy it. What's going on, Jake? Where's Linda? My words came out sharper than I meant, but I didn't care. I needed answers. I needed to know why my wife was playing games with me, why she was confessing her feelings to him, of all people. Jake looked like he was about to say something, but then he hesitated. His eyes flickered to the hallway behind him, then back to me. I could see the tension in his face. He was avoiding the truth. The silence stretched between us, thick and uncomfortable. Then he spoke, and what he said next made my blood run cold. David, it's not what you think. It wasn't what I thought. I couldn't believe him. What else was there to say? Everything I'd overheard made it perfectly clear what was going on. But Jake's words weren't the only thing that made me freeze. Because just then, I heard footsteps behind him. I stood there, my heart racing, as the footsteps grew louder. Jake's expression changed, his body tense, as if he was bracing for something I wasn't ready for. The door creaked open just a little wider, and then she appeared. Linda. But it wasn't just Linda. It was her. The woman who, just moments ago, I thought was my wife, the person I'd shared my life with. But now, standing in front of me, she didn't look like the same woman. Her face was pale, and her eyes avoided mine. The guilt was written all over her. I had seen that look before on people who were caught doing something they knew they shouldn't. And then she said the words that crushed me completely. "David, I'm so sorry." Sorry? Sorry for what? I wasn't sure what hurt more, the betrayal or the fact that I could see her so clearly now, knowing she had been keeping something from me for who knows how long. Jake stepped aside, letting Linda take a step forward. She reached out, her hand trembling, but I couldn't move. I couldn't accept it. The woman I had loved, the woman I had trusted, was standing here in front of me, telling me she was sorry for something I never thought I'd have to face. I wanted to scream. I wanted to tell her how much this hurt, how much it shattered everything I thought was true. But I didn't. I couldn't find the words. All I could do was stand there, staring at the two of them, trying to piece together the wreckage of my life in front of me. "David, please let me explain," Linda said, her voice quivering. "It's not what you think. I never wanted to hurt you." But it didn't matter what she said. The truth was out. And at that moment, it hit me. I had been so blind. We had been so distant for so long that I hadn't seen what was right in front of me. Was this the end of our marriage? Was there a way back from this? As I looked at Linda, my mind flashed back to all the moments we had shared. I thought about everything we had built, everything I had believed in. But could I ever trust her again? Could I forgive her for this? And then Jake, the man who had been like a son to me, stood there, looking at me with a mixture of guilt and remorse. It wasn't just Linda who had betrayed me. It was both of them. I turned away, the weight of the moment crashing down on me. Everything was broken. But one question still lingered in my mind. What now?